Welcome to another episode of MicroShiner's Life Distilled. I'm Brian. I'm here at New Deal Distillery in Portland, Oregon with Tom and Lance. So thank you, gentlemen, for having me here today. This is awesome.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, excellent. So let's talk about your roles, both of you guys, and what you guys do here. Tom, let's start with you.
I'm the owner, the founder, the distiller, although now I have someone helping, which makes it easy. I used to do all the work, and now I can do all the paperwork. I get to be I wouldn't say the brains, but the heart of the operation.
Very cool. Excellent. Okay, Lance?
Yeah, I'm the operations manager, so when Tom's not here, I just make sure the place doesn't burn down.
So far, so good. So far, so good.
Very cool. Excellent. Okay, so we have quite the spread in front of us. But before we dive into this, now I understand New Deal, you guys have been around since 2004, correct?
2004, oh yeah.
Okay, excellent. Now what made you get into distilling?
So 2001, I was talking with a friend, heading for a recession. I'm like, can we swear on this fucking podcast?
Yeah, fuck yeah, go for it.
Okay, yes, thank you. All right, this is
easier.
gonna get real. I was like, I can't drink yuppie vodka during a recession.
Okay.
And then being Portland, talking to a friend, it's like, why aren't we making stuff? Can you do that? Of course you can do that. So I decided, of course I can do that, having no idea how to do that. But back in those days, you just did it. So we got a small space, 10 by 12 foot room, a little still, got our license in 2004, and just started learning our craft.
That's awesome. Okay, so craft spirits are something it's really kind of, moving forward, and people are doing different things and very different things. And I love the spread that you have in front of me here today. I can't wait to dive into some of these labels. Did you ever ferment beer before? Or I just want to make vodka? And then did you perhaps, I don't know, did you start distilling in your backyard maybe?
No, literally, the idea just came out of the blue. It just one day I was like, why don't I make spirits? And I love whiskey, and I think the future is whiskey and all that, and brown spirits and creative spirits and Amaros, but I still have a soft spot in my heart for vodka. I think that's one thing that's different is I still like the vodka. So we're one of the few distilleries that actually invested the equipment to get grain to glass.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, no. Now talk grain to glass. Where do you get your grain from?
There's this 70-year-old farmer who delivers it, so I assume it comes from a farm because he said he grew it. I'm going to trust him because it's out in Eastern Oregon. I haven't been there yet.
Okay.
And then, he just drops it off. So it comes off a truck from a farmer.
Awesome.
Not being facetious, but it's a farm in Eastern Oregon, dry-grown, soft winter wheat.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. Yeah. Okay, great. So Lance, I guess, you talked about what you did here, but what made you get into the distilling world realm?
Well, it's funny, you mentioned brewing earlier. I moved to Portland thinking I was coming here to work at a brewery. There's like a million of them here. So I moved here from Michigan a few years ago just with the intention to go work at a brewery. I had been doing home brewing and just kind of wanted to see more of the business end of a small craft brewery. Ended up finding this job as the tasting room manager here at New Deal and just loved it. So I learned a lot of the same stuff I was interested in learning, not only from a brewing aspect because we do a lot of our own, mashes, fermentations, everything, a little bit different style, but still a lot of the same concepts. And then just learning more about the small craft industry and getting more into, I used to drink mostly beer with a gin and tonic every once in a while, and now getting more into actually drinking more, not only just spirits on their own, but cocktails and learning how to do different, mixed drinks and everything, going to a bunch of the awesome cocktail bars here in town. So over the last few years, just really diving more into this realm and learning more about just small craft industry. And we work with a lot of craft breweries, wineries, all sorts of stuff here, do some collaborations, which hopefully we'll get to later, talk a little bit about them anyways. And it's just fun to stay in the industry, but get a little bit different aspect than what I was expecting, but loving it all the same, so yeah.
Right, no, very cool. I have a buddy who did that. He thought he was going to go into the wine industry big time. And that's kind of the case for a lot of these kids that are in college still, going to school thinking they're going to learn all about winemaking, but the craft distillery scene is booming, and so they find themselves all of a sudden having to focus more on distilling and the arts of distilling more than, when to, SO2 your wine and stuff like that. So, very cool. Excellent. Okay. Well, let's dive into something. Let's start with whatever you think we need to start with. Let's taste some
Start with
stuff.
this, man. Just made some
grain to
today.
glass.
This is the grain to glass we were just talking about, so we'll start with that. I'm gonna get a different glass though.
Okay.
Oh,
He believes in hospitality, so
right.
he actually, he's strong that way. Like no chip glass for the customers.
Right. Yeah.
So new deal, grain to glass. Literally bring in wheat, ferment, triple distilled. Our beautiful Christian Carl still, right there. The back 2 columns, we bought those just so we could make a quality vodka.
Very cool.
And like I said, most distillers aren't doing that. Although I see like the next generation coming up. Distilleries are starting to have more interest in a by-scratch vodka. But, I mean, to be honest, whiskey will always be king in the craft world, as well it should be, as well as the creative spirits. But, vodka's like the loaf of bread. Just because it's not the center of the meal doesn't mean it can't be good.
Right. No, understood.
So, all Oregon wheat.
Okay. And am I drinking by myself, you guys?
Yeah, we'll drink with you.
Yeah.
All right, so this interview is going to get off the rails.
Right on. Excellent. So I like. That has a great wheat nose to it. It's very soft, a little sweet, sweet smelling. Mm-hmm. Nice.
The story I always like to tell about this, because I haven't been around since inception of this, but when I first started working here, I never thought I would just drink vodka on its own. It was always a mixer, or a martini was about as straight as I would go. And this, when I first started working here, this changed my mind. I can keep this in the freezer, just drink it as is. Right. And it reminds me a lot of times when I talk to people who are more into whiskey culture. Yeah. This is a little bit truer to the grain, so you get a little bit more people who are willing to actually drink this and try it and say oh, I never thought I liked vodka. This is good.
Right. No, that's the thing, and it goes the same for a lot of other spirits too. People don't really understand because they've just been used to the Seagrams or the Bowls or something like that. But there's so many great things out there. As you can see.
Well, and I guess one thing I like to say is it's really easy to make a clean vodka. You can just apply charcoal to till the cows come home, so to speak.
Exactly.
But it's really hard to actually create a vodka that has some character to it and still is a clean finish. That's sort of like my holy grail.
Got it. This is fantastic vodka. This is really nice. I enjoy that. Very easy drinking. Nothing. Really. I have this saying, and I say it every episode. I have this. It's called ESA. Every spirit appreciated. So sometimes it gets me in some rough patches the next day. But I always I look for the good in everything because there's so much work in everything that's gone into it, crafting these spirits from, like you said, grain to glass, and this is really palatable. This is really great. Like you said, it's making a neutral spirit is pretty easy, but making it where it's
well, can we just talk about neutral spirit for a second?
Sure,
it's
absolutely.
a fucking bureaucratic definition. Right. Anything distilled to 95% quote unquote neutral spirit. Have you ever tasted Everclear?
Exactly.
Does that taste neutral to you? No, it's not neutral. So, in a sense, you have the spectrum between the White Dog and the brandy, as you get to the cleaner distillation styles. And yes, you get up to the vodka, but it's not neutral. You can leave flavor. We actually have a partnership with this couple who knows one of Don Julio's son-in-law who's a distiller, and we brought some tequila up here and made a vodka out of tequila. We were able to leave tequila nose and a vodka body.
Whoa.
There's just so much you can do with vodka. Most people aren't going to care, but we still do it.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's it's great, and it's your flagship spirit, and it shows. It's I would not change a thing at all. Very good.
Maybe a bigger bottle.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. That'd be interesting. First craft spirit to do handles. Actual handles.
No, we have handles.
Do you guys really? Awesome.
Of the Portland vodka and the dry gin, we do.
Oh my goodness. Maybe I'm just that ignorant.
Well,
I just don't know what people are doing.
But you have to think we've been around since 2004.
Right.
And because of that, we've established enough volume for those products locally that it makes sense, especially bars carry you.
Yeah, those are our two sort of main bar spirits in town, anyways. Right. And for a bartender to especially do like some house infused vodkas or something like that, they don't want to buy these and keep dumping them into, so yeah.
Okay.
And I just want to say one thing about kind of our philosophy. I mean, the name New Deal, everything about it, to me it's about that time when, kind of all in it together, but also that luxury is accessible.
Yeah.
And there's a reason this is not happening in LA. It's like, Portland's a town where, the cooks go out to the nice restaurants,
Right.
It's like, because it's not so like unattainable, like the good stuff we can make it. So we buy scratch products that are actually priced so people can drink them.
Yeah.
It's just sort of the philosophy of, let's make it as best we can, but still charge $25.
Yeah. No, that's the reality too. It's hard. There's always like a common misconception that craft does not necessarily mean better. You got to do it right as well. And that's.
Well, and I think this is one thing I said early on in this industry, and I remember early on, like 2004, I remember the first backlash against local, because a lot of people weren't taking the care. And I mean, from day one, we always said, local will get you the first drink, but quality will get you the second.
Right.
So I think some people forget that.
Yeah. No, that's I like the way you put that. Wow. Isn't Portland saying like keep Portland weird? Isn't that?
I think it's now make Portland weird again because we've gone too
Right.
far.
Yeah.
I remember I touched base on that. I was down here a few years ago for the Toast event.
Right.
That's annual. That's an annual event, correct? Yeah.
Yep.
So we were down here, me and Kobe, and it was a great event. So many craft distilleries around here in Oregon, and like you said, craft beers. You can't really. 7-Eleven probably has their own craft beers going too, like next to the slushy machines. But no, the craft beer scene is great here too. But yeah, this is fantastic. All right, well let's try something else. What else do you guys think should? Move into?
Do you think you got 9 tastes in you, or should we should we pick and choose a little bit?
Yeah, let's maybe pick out some of your
gin 33.
favorites.
So we could probably skip.
We're gonna skip the 90 proof vodka.
Okay, yeah.
Even though it is just as good as the New Deal, but in a different way.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
cleaner, higher alcohol, and probably a little bit more traditional flavor profile for people who love
more
vodka.
neutral.
Okay.
So there's always 2 camps, and even my friends, when they come over to my house,
Yeah.
it just depends. Like they'll try them both. My friends who love to just do shots of vodka love the Portland 90.
Okay.
It goes down really smooth.
Yeah.
I sip on the New Deal, and everybody gets what they want, So it's,
Maybe we should get a dump bucket. I don't know.
Yeah.
Instead of the floor.
floor.
It's production
vodka,
floor too.
I know, the vodka will
I'll grab
evaporate.
Yeah.
I'll grab one.
So, our gin 33, classic. It's our Portland dry gin, classic dry style gin.
Okay.
And when we first started, one of the beautiful things about starting in a world of ignorance and not knowing anything, like now, people will spend millions of dollars on their distilleries.
Yeah.
They'll go to the still makers. They'll go to the classes. They'll be given recipes.
Yeah.
So and some will put master distiller on their car before they've distilled a drop.
Yeah.
Which, I've been doing this 14 years. I'm still head distiller.
Yeah.
Anyway, that aside,
Yeah.
in our ignorant days in the mid 2000s making gin, we're like, well, how do you make gin? There was no instruction, so we actually built a lot of different still designs, and in that process came up with a lot of different techniques and explored juniper in itself. And so
Okay.
this is just juniper, orange, and lemon.
Okay.
And what's interesting, we have a completely different style of gin that is just juniper, orange, and lemon.
Okay.
And we found different ways to bring different flavor aspects out of the juniper.
Okay.
You could do them side by side. It's
do them
always
side by side.
Cool,
more
cool.
impressive to do.
All right, yeah.
Hold on one second. Just adjust your mic. Kind of got buried a little bit. There we go.
That's the gin 1.
Okay.
Yeah, so do the dry gin first.
we're gonna do
'cause
the Portland Gin 33.
Oh, you're gonna go left to right, huh? That's fine.
Oh, which one should I do?
No, you should left to right, but you switched them from our, yeah. That's okay.
Left to right? Should I do left to right or
No,
right
that's
to
gin,
left?
that's gin 33, right?
That's gin
Okay.
33, and then that's gin number 1.
Yeah. So try the 33 first.
Okay.
Are we
It's
back
gonna
on?
have a little,
Yeah,
little
we're
smoother
good.
finish,
Okay.
or a cleaner finish.
So gin 33, just a classic dry style gin.
Okay.
Pot distilled. We both macerate the botanicals in the spirit and use botanical trays.
3 ingredients only. Correct?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. It's simple, fantastic. That's the thing when you see stuff like gin 33. I was expecting 33 ingredients.
Right.
People try to just, this is what's happening. We got all kinds of stuff happening. Do you taste the subtle hints of that? And it's tough. But this is simple, and yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's all I want from a gin
Tom
sometimes,
can tell
you know?
I don't know if he wants to tell the true story or the made-up story about 33, but maybe both.
Maybe both. So, well, I hate to get, it started as gin number 3, then apparently London Dry number 3 had a trademark on number 3.
Oh, true.
And they had, I don't want to besmirch them, I've never met them personally,
Right.
but their lawyers are really tall,
Yeah,
muscular, and we're like, okay, and if you drink enough, your eyes cross and the 3 becomes 33. So, there you go, and that's how Gin 33 came about.
Cross-eyed gin, essentially.
Or we could make up some other stories. Oregon's the 33rd state.
Okay.
Prohibition ended in 33.
There you go.
Or I have 33 drinks every Monday. I don't know.
like it.
I don't know what it means.
Okay. No, it's just fun. It's a good story. Okay. So now how does the gin number 1 differ?
Well, if you see, the gin number 1 has some color to it.
Okay.
Same botanicals.
Right.
But like I said, in our ignorant days of experimentation, when we're actually building our own stills,
Yeah.
I built some still heads and some column extraction where I was able to pull out non-volatile, heavier elements. So
Right.
stuff that normally doesn't get through into the vapor, I collected it. And we're actually getting the plant side. That's why we call it our garden style. So you taste this, it's going to be herbaceous, it's going to
Okay.
be savory, it's going to have a salinity, it's going to want to be in culinary cocktails, celery.
Okay.
Very earthy. It truly is a unique gin.
Yeah, when I describe these in the tasting room, I kind of just talk about juniper being a spectrum, and like the bright, high sort of citrusy notes being the dry gin, and then these deeper, earthy, savory notes being the gin 1. And they're both prominent in the juniper berry itself, but the way that we distill these, it just comes out differently. So.
Okay. Oh, that's fun. Okay. Great. So, so there's no aging behind this. For the
No,
color.
this is all tannins that are vapor extracted from this
That's
juniper during
awesome.
distillation.
That's great. Now, oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
3 ingredients.
3 ingredients. Okay. Now, let me ask you this: do you have any issues, like if made in a cocktail or something, does it start to cloud, like louche, almost because of the oils or anything?
This doesn't. But I will say it has very different flavor affinities.
Yeah.
33 loves lemon in a gin and tonic.
Okay.
I'm sorry, loves lime.
Yeah.
Reverse it, and then the gin 1 loves the lemon in a gin and tonic.
Okay.
So it's just a different culinary key, so to speak.
Very cool. Very good.
Yeah, this one, the more savory notes really good with like bitter grapefruit. So like when grapefruits are in season, this and like a gin and juice riff kind of thing.
Nice.
Really good. This goes in almost all dry gin cocktails. Negroni with that. Actually, tomorrow we're featuring a Negroni with that for the cocktail crawl for Distillery Row. But yeah, this is like our go-to dry gin, essentially. And then this one, it's a little bit, it is a little more fun to play around with, but it does have very different affinities. Like
Got it.
really good in a dirty martini, because that, like you said, salinity and sort of that brininess, really good with olive brine in there.
Very cool. Excellent. Well, that's fantastic. Oh, and they're both 46% alcohol by volume.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, surprisingly smooth for 46%.
Right? Exactly.
Sure.
Not
Yeah.
exactly Navy strength, right? Navy strength is what, 90 proof? Yeah. No.
I don't know
Sure.
the official
It's
definition.
100. Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be 100.
Yeah.
Because of the whole gunpowder thing back in
Yeah,
the
I
day.
think that's why it's-
it doesn't make the gunpowder get wet, but
Yeah, I know. You know what? I just heard that story recently.
Yep.
I thought it was a lot. That's really cool. I just knew Navy strength was like higher
Yep.
proof, maybe for the sailors
For
who
the
like
sailors, yeah,
need
right.
to get messed up, fucked up
I think
faster.
if a cannonball hits
But-
your gin barrel and it sprays on the gunpowder, and you're kind of like, it better light.
Yeah. No.
So
that's,
did
great.
you hear the story about proofing? Like 100 proof? So the story I've heard, so the reason we have this weird scale
Okay.
is that they would put spirit on gunpowder, and if it still ignited, it was considered full proof. But their
Okay.
scale was wrong, so they thought 100 proof was, it could ignite. And I think they originally thought that was 50%, really it was like 52%.
Okay.
But our whole proof scale was just like, at what point is it high enough alcohol that the gunpowder will ignite?
Got it.
And I sure the fuck hope that story's true.
Right?
Yeah. But it sounds really
There's
good.
a lot of people
It's
out
pretty
there
fun.
that can't tell their story because their gunpowder didn't light.
Exactly.
Right? Exactly.
The survivor gets to tell the story.
Oh, wow. Cool. Well, fantastic gin, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you, Tom, for sharing that. That's awesome. Okay.
Should probably stay lighter. I would say maybe.
Let's do the pear.
Yeah. I think
Pear?
this is
So we're really excited about the pear.
Here's a rinse bottle too, if you want to.
Oh, cool. Yeah, thank you.
Rinse.
Gonna run out of
Thank you.
glasses.
Yeah, no, that's no, yeah, we don't have to switch it out. I'm good with the
Yeah.
rinse. It's awesome.
So, this is an estate-grown pear brandy.
Okay.
The orchard, Parody Orchard, the family owns it, came to us,
Okay.
about 2 years ago and said, hey, we wanna make a pear from our family's orchard. And we're like, fuck yeah, you do. And our still, a Christian Carl, like the front part, its DNA is to make fruit spirits.
Okay.
And we were lucky to have a distiller, Aaron Hemphill, who came from Clear Creek, so he had a lot of knowledge in fruit distillation.
Okay.
And then we had just a lot of knowledge in all the whiskey and rum we've done, and so we just combined all that.
Yeah.
And classic Eau de Vie style,
It smells so good.
about 20 pounds of pears per bottle. That aroma, that dry finish. I'm very proud. We just won Best of Class at ADI, not only in fruit
Awesome.
brandy, but all brandy.
Good. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's no.
So the pears that they brought us, up until recently, they've been selling them as like food grade A
Right.
pears. They're just selling them to like Duckwall and these large companies to ship them all over the U.S. for sure, maybe the world, I don't know. But this was the first time that they've used the pears in some other way other than just food grade pears. But when they brought them to us, they were beautiful. We were literally like taking them out of the bins and eating them because they were like, so good.
Yeah.
But I think that's what it takes to make such a flavorful Eau de Vie brandy.
That's
Yeah.
a great brandy. That's great.
My favorite part is the pears. They say it needs cold storage, right? It needs to go to cold
Right.
storage after harvest to help the ripening. You pull it out, so they come here, and after a week, they all ripen at the same time, and it's just the most beautiful smell. And my staff is just eating pears left and right, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. I know they can't eat that many.
Save some.
Yeah.
Save some for the bottles.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's most brandies or something like this, they tend to be too hot or something. There's too much happening. Like pectin is like a big issue when distilling or making brandy. Like apple brandy and stuff like that. But this is wonderful. I'm so glad you won at ADI.
Yeah.
No, that was what just like a month or two ago?
Yeah, like
2
last month,
Yeah.
2 months ago.
Yeah.
April.
Yeah, the ADI conference.
Not long ago.
March, April.
Awesome.
This year, that's all I know.
No. Bill and Bill, Eric, Andrew, Drew, the whole team. They do a great job with that. Yeah. Yeah. Let's enjoy this for a little bit. This is
Yeah.
awesome. No, that's
Yeah.
great. So this is the only batch, or do you do this annually, or?
Well, we've started
will.
doing it annually. So
Okay.
we did. So about 2 years ago, we started R&D, and I knew that the Prince Williams, the Bartletts were the best, quote unquote. In the
Okay.
same way, use a number 4 char barrel.
Right.
But I'm still going to experiment. So we definitely did.
That's the beauty of craft. You can do that.
Yeah, we have to find out. So
Yeah.
we tried the Bosch's, Anjus, the Comets. We tried a lot of different pears that were grown on this orchard.
Uh-huh.
Along with the Bartletts. So the first time, just to be like, okay, let's find out what you're actually going to get. In this case, we learned, yes, people are right. The Bartletts are the best.
Got it.
Yeah.
But I think some people have a tendency to sort of like go down the tried and true path. Like, we're going to make a Scotch just like Scotland.
Yeah.
And they may make a Scotch just as good as Scotland. That's possible, and that's a beautiful thing, and that's what you love. But I think they're taking those risks of being like, well, let's do something stupid and see what happens. We wouldn't have the Gin 1 if we weren't out there, let's just try some different things.
Yeah.
So in this case, we went back to tradition. None of the cases we haven't.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. First off, show the camera your fist. I got to see this tattoo. VSOP.
VSOP. That's something you only get at a certain age in your life.
Right?
It's sort of my aging statement, a reminder to age well.
Yeah. Okay.
True story. One night I was kind of in a mood, and I said, I'm gonna get deep fried mac and cheese or a tattoo. Went to my favorite dive bar, and for some reason I couldn't get goddamn service. And I was like, fuck this, it's tattoo time.
Oh, that's that's a great story.
Yeah. I love my mom's reaction. The first time she saw it, she just looked at it and went, what's that? Eh. That's all she ever said.
Yep.
God bless her.
Next hand, you're gonna get what? XO.
XO.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how I feel.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see how I feel.
No, I was just, because the VSOP is usually associated with brandy, so I didn't know if like brandy is something you're really striving for.
I love brandy too. I mean, we barely have scratched it. We have a bunch of workshop lines. We have brandies. You're not going to see everything today, especially on the small scale.
Yeah.
But yeah, brandy. I mean, go off on a tangent. Unlike a lot of distilleries, the newer ones, like a lot of them are money driven. They're like, hey, I just want to build this brand and sell it. And I'm like, good on you. Like, that's never been my goal. It's never been my plan. So it's always been this organic, slow growth. But it also means I have room to kind of like, not maximize. Like, there's certain choices you make when you try to make money. We're trying to make money, but if you're not so focused on that in craft, then you can play more. And so we're going to play everywhere.
Cool.
Yeah. We've done, going back to what I was saying earlier with collaborations, we've done like a Pinot Noir brandy where we get finished Pinot Noir wine and then distill that and barrel age it.
Okay.
We've done some apple brandies, a couple different ways. I think the first time we actually smashed the apples and did, similar style to the pear, but we've also done where we get fresh juice from the orchard and ferment that. So this was the first time that I know of that we've done it is the first time we did a pear, but like the whole fruit, we actually invested in the equipment to do the mashing, the mash pump, everything to be able to leave the stems, seeds, everything in there. And Tom already talked about like the DNA of the still. We've been doing whiskey, but this is the first time we've done an eau de vie whole fruit brandy kind of on the still, which is what it was kind of made for.
Yeah.
But yeah, the collaborations have always been fun, but this collaboration with the orchard where we actually got the fruit instead of like just finished wine. Really cool. Kind of bringing it into like a new realm that we just didn't have staff or equipment for previous to last year, and now it's fun. This will hopefully be an annual thing that we do every year when the pears are ripe in the fall. We're talking about hopefully doing some sort of shoot-offs from this, maybe a pear liqueur or something with their pears. So like as we can grow the volume of this, maybe do some more stuff with those same pears, and just keep that collaboration going. And
Interesting. Now, that's one thing. I was in Amsterdam recently, and I met with an old, like third generation Jenever distiller, and the way she sees it, she does not ferment. She's like, ferment is for the amateur distiller, and I found that really fascinating. I mean, it's like, but I mean, I don't know. First off, little backstory about me. I played with distillation for years. I used to manage bars, and I was obsessed with, spirits. First off, once I started learning that once my distributor came to me, he's like, here, you should check out this one. This is made in San Francisco. I'm like, wait a second, this is a local, it's kind of local spirit. I was blown away, So then I was like, wow, okay, so people are actually making stuff around here. It's not just coming from, Smirnoff or, Jack Daniels. It's actually, and that was really like eye-opening for me. But so when I would distill in my backyard, I just couldn't wrap my head around fermentation. It was just too much. It was like babysitting, and I couldn't do it. And so I kind of understand where she's getting at, but do you think there'd be any benefits to like just getting something else? I mean, granted, you're in control from start to finish, from fruit, literally from fruit. Well, farmer drops it off the fruit to bottle. Like, do you think there'd be any benefit to?
Actually, yeah. So
yeah.
But so she's, basically a gin distiller.
Yeah.
So I think if you're a gin distiller, especially for most distilleries in America, it makes sense to start with like a neutral base of some kind.
Okay.
Honestly, it does.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not gonna help your craft if you just want the spirit to be that nice clean base, that clean palate to draw your flavorings of your botanicals, then it's the economics of doing that aren't there.
Yeah.
So in that case, please do that. It makes sense, and I think most most gins that are respected today, the distiller buys the spirit to build the gin on.
Yeah.
But that being said, I mean, little tangent, our same people we did that tequila vodka, for them, we're bringing in tequila from Mexico to actually make a gin off that. And in that case, we're not fermenting it, but the group is fermenting it, and so it's coming in rough, so we're getting like that thing. So you have to have someone on your team, which is our distiller in Mexico, who actually can control who can control the process.
Okay.
And you have a say in that,
Yeah.
like the style. And then for whiskey, honestly, the way we distill whiskey is way different than how a beer, or ferment the grain, is way different than a beer maker. In fact, we can ferment higher yields much cheaper on very primitive equipment than a beer maker can. So it actually makes sense for us completely, plus the control and the style and the yields, everything. For a whiskey distiller, you almost have to.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Other thing to add to that too is like this pear brandy, like we get ripe pears in the fall, but you literally have like a week to actually turn them into something because they'll go bad, they'll rot it.
Right.
You know, they're going to ferment on their own if you don't ferment them and turn them into pear brandy. So there's definitely an aspect of like getting something and then turning it into something that's essentially shelf stable. You know what I mean? Like we can't do a really, really good funky agricole rum necessarily without having like a cane field growing right next to the distillery to turn that into like literally cut it and turn it into rum. Because by the time they cut it and ship it and send it here, so it's like there's certain things that like yes, if we specifically want to make it out of an ingredient that doesn't grow here, then you have to make some sacrifices to getting it here. And then there's also ways where you can take like a Pinot Noir wine that was made by somebody who knows what the hell they're doing to make Pinot Noir, which we're not winemakers, you know what I mean? So it's like there's two different aspects of that as well. And also I think the last part of that is, you know, I'm seeing more and more people who are doing like farm distilleries where it's like they're actually growing the grain and then turning that into something or whatever. And there's definitely like a continuum and a process there that people, if that's what they're really going for, where they want to do start to finish, then yes, absolutely. But for something who's doing a gin and they're only doing one specific gin and that's going to be the only thing that they market and sell, like I think that it just behooves them to like just start off with a neutral spirit, add the botanicals that they want to add to it, and then make that product. So there's a lot of different products you can make, and each one has their own realm of whether you should start with fresh or start from scratch or whatever.
No, that's a great point.
Yeah.
And you can tell he's telling the truth because God made the sun shine on us right now in a very dramatic reveal.
I know, it's been happening all through like, you know, really good talking points. It's like,
Bring on the sun, bring on the sun.
well, fantastic. The pear brandy, congrats on winning some award. That is awesome. That is by far the best I've ever had. Yeah.
Here's the 20. No.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Slipping the money under the table.
I'll be leaving with my case later. No.
Whiskey before infusions?
Whiskey before infusion. So,
rye next.
you may have heard of this spirit category. It's called whiskey.
Whoa.
Fresh glasses are rinsed.
That's crazy.
He's rinsed it.
Yeah, I got it.
I'm
good at this.
Actually, pear's a light flavor. We
seasoned.
can pour on top.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, I never thought about that. Little pear notes.
Pear
back
notes.
end of the whiskey. So, here you go, Tom.
I guess I want to say something about learning how to be a distiller.
Yeah. Talk
because
away.
I may kind of like I'm kind of half joking say I don't put the word master distiller on my business card.
Right.
And I know that you can at the end of the day, people are going to make what they want to make, and I respect all making, right?
Right.
But I will say one thing is that even initially I thought we made good whiskeys, but every time something comes out of the barrel, I learn something.
Yeah.
And then I think, oh, we're going to distill this differently next time. And then I know that the whiskey that comes out of the barrel 3 years from that point is going to be better. So I think there's always learning. So it's
Yeah.
And I think that just has to be in your DNA. Like you want to learn from what you've done. So 3-year rye, 80%. No, this is 70% rye, 15% wheat, 15% malt barley.
Okay.
No. You're thinking bourbon. This is 75% rye, but then it's a mix of both malted and unmalted barley for the other 25%.
It was 3 years ago, okay?
Yeah, the bourbon is similar to what you just said. This one is actually, it has both malted and unmalted barley for the other 25%. So the unmalted kind of adds a little bit more grassy notes in there, and then the malted is a little bit more like traditional and actually helps with that, like sort of deeper flavor. But
Like I said, I'm not the brains of the operation.
No.
This
is great.
We've done a lot of different whiskeys too. So this line, this Distiller's Reserve line, is the first ones we've actually started releasing to bars and liquor stores. Prior to this line last year, most of our whiskeys were just single barrel releases that we only sold here in the distillery. And it was a lot of, again, experimentation. So we've done multiple different types of rye whiskeys, different mash bills on that. We've done some different bourbons using some smoked malts and not smoked malts and things. We've done 4 of the same barrel but released them at different times. So we did a lot of experimentation with different cooperages, different mash bills, different whatever. And then last year was the first year we actually had built up a volume of some of the ones that we liked, that we were like, okay, let's do 4 barrels, and when they come out, let's put them into bars and liquor stores. So still really small batches. We're growing, obviously, more and more each time we do it. This is the second time we released the rye, and we just last week released another bourbon. We did a wheat, which is since sold out, and
Unfortunately, we didn't make any more. So
unfortunately, we didn't know it would be as good as it was. Again, sent it to ADI, and it got best of category for that one, not best of class. It wasn't the best whiskey, but it was the best wheat whiskey. But it almost immediately sold out of that, and we were like, man, we should have put away a lot more barrels of that.
Right? No, that's a kicker. That's rough. I mean, do you guys have any more laying around? I mean,
of the wheat?
Yeah.
We do. I think we've got hidden bottles.
We got a hidden bottle.
No, it's okay.
Maybe off camera we can show where the stash is.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good. Noted.
The true Distiller's Reserve.
Sure.
Yeah.
But we've only been in this facility for about 6 years, and I think that's about when we started doing aged spirits.
Well, no, that's when we started doing aged spirits in volume.
In volume, yes.
So in volume. So we did a bunch of experiment on our other space.
Yeah.
But before we had the steam hooked up, we were doing like 30-gallon still runs and a double boiler.
Oh, wow.
And so we didn't have like...
really small, yeah.
Yeah, really small, because like we actually had this beautiful still way back in 2011, but the last year of a lease, and it was sort of like, do we install it? And we didn't know we were going to live until we moved into this building and purchased this. So we had a bunch of little just one-off things, but nothing economical that made sense to make money.
Yeah.
Then once we had the steam, it was like full speed ahead.
Cool.
Yeah. Right.
So are you going to go back to the wheat? Are you going to try to revisit that? Bring that? Okay. Very cool.
Tom jokes that it took him 6 years to make a 3-year whiskey, which is not true. It did take 6 years to release a 3-year whiskey to the greater population, but and will we make more wheat? Yes, absolutely. I think we're already in the process of hopefully doing so.
Right.
But
Yeah.
And hopefully a few more heirloom varieties of wheat. I'm kind of curious about that.
Yeah. And again, wheat's from Oregon, yeah?
Wheat's from Oregon, and I just have a friend who has a distillery in Colorado, Syntax Distilling, and she talked about how she switched wheat from farmers and how it was like a completely different experience. So we've barely scratched the surface on like the things you can do with whiskey, and our industry has just barely scratched the surface.
Yeah. No. Well, that's really good. I mean, this is a great rye as well. So, I mean, I can't wait for the next wheat release.
Well, out of 3 years.
3 years.
at least.
Okay. I'll start my timer. I'll start my timer on my
Put a Google alert or whatever it is. A notification.
Google alert. I'll be back.
That's the bourbon. We do the bourbon
in timeout, or we can bring it out?
No, when the table's getting crowded.
All right.
Well, I mean, whatever you guys feel.
Hey.
I see some interesting labels. The mud puddle back there, that almost looks like a wine label. It's kind of like in the bottle and how dark it is. It's like, is that cab or spirit?
Have you ever had chocolate wine? Chocolate wine is disgusting. This is amazing.
Should I rinse this or?
No, you can. No. Okay, that's the proper method.
Proper minute. Okay, finish the glass.
So this bourbon, which Tom previewed the grain bill on this, it's 70% corn, 15% wheat, and then 15% malted barley.
See, I think we're doing something right. The heavens are shining down again.
Right. When we get to whiskey and pear branding, they're like, ooh.
Uh-oh. The GoPro likes to do that every once in a while. Okay. It'll shut off. It's okay. We're still chilling. Okay. It just overheats. So we're going to give it a moment. All right, guys. So after some technical difficulties, we're back. Bourbon whiskey. Okay, so let's talk about this lineup and whatnot. So it's mash bill and everything.
Yeah, so 70% corn,
Okay.
15% wheat, and 15% malted barley.
Okay.
Yep. So the last bourbon that we released, same line, was almost the exact same thing, but we had used unmalted barley. This one is the same mash bill, but with malted barley, and personally, I prefer this one. But we're still learning.
Well,
Yeah.
We're still experimenting.
Every year, the whiskey seems to get better and better and better.
Yeah.
Go figure.
And you just learn the little things, like cooking eggs. You just learn little tricks. Like next time, let's just do this.
Okay. No, that's and that's fun. So I mean, and that's another like question I'd like to touch base on is most it's almost like the trend is you open a distillery to make whiskey, but you also have to make a vodka or a gin. You set out to make vodka. That's a little different, And you're just like, oh well, I'll play with some whiskey and I'll win some awards and I'll kill some shit, Like that's kind of cool.
That's the joy of not having a plan.
Okay.
I mean, our literal business model.
Yeah.
I mean, this was my roommate at the time, Matthew Van Winkle, started this with me, and just as a kind of a lark, it's like, hey, do you want to work for free for 10 years? He's like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
He's retired, had a kid.
Yeah.
But
10 years was
enough.
no.
Sell one bottle to one stranger off a shelf.
Okay.
And that was it. I mean, that was literally our entire business model.
Okay.
And then the rest were like, you know what, if we can do that, then we can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
If we get that far, then the rest is easy.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, whiskey is great. We're gonna probably long term, we're gonna make our money off whiskey,
Okay.
but we're also gonna make money and fun off everything else.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, that's
I mean,
great.
I remember times when we didn't have whiskey in the lineup, and people would come in, and we have 12 products on the list that they can try, and they're like, "Do you have any whiskey?" And no, they'd walk out, and I'm like, "We've got 12 fantastic products that you're now never going to try probably." But like, it's
right.
like whiskey is one of those things where it's like, even just having it in the lineup, there's other things that people end up buying. When they come in, they check the 2 whiskeys, and they're like, what else should I try?
Right.
And I say, well, like our ginger liqueur is actually our best seller. You're going to be surprised, but this is our best seller.
Yeah.
Our New Deal vodka is grain to glass, and it's probably unlike any other vodka you've ever had. Like I'll like say these things,
Yeah.
and they try our amber rum, which is aged similar to a whiskey. And honestly, if I hand it to them and I don't tell them it's rum, they're just like, what type of whiskey is this? You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's like the barrel
Yeah.
character on some of these things, some of these experimental things we've done. Whiskey is kind of like the entry point, and it's what everybody knows. But like I think being in the craft, again, industry, you can show them that there's so much more to it. Or even
Yeah.
like we've done a barrel-aged gin before, where it's like, when that was in the lineup, it was like, well, it sounds like you like barrel-aged stuff. You want to try this gin that,
Yeah.
it's going to be a little different. It's definitely not whiskey, but like it's
Yeah.
got some cool character to it. So I don't know. Whiskey's definitely king, and we're definitely going to keep making it, and
Yeah.
we'll probably, like you said, make our money on it. But we're still going to keep making vodka because A, it's what Tom loves,
Yeah.
and the wheat that we
Well,
get
let's just
is
say it's one of the 12 things I love.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
right,
I think bottom line, our goal is to have fun.
yeah.
Good. Yeah. And
mean,
that's
That's the
fun.
only way. That's the only way you go through the grind of a small business.
Right.
You enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. Like comedians, if I can make one person laugh, then it's worth it, and
Okay, I'm going to disagree with you.
okay.
We've hired a lot of comedians. We
Oh,
used to
okay.
have 3 of Portland's 5 funniest working for us.
No way.
I think they want at least 3 people laughing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think they have goals.
Good. They want at
It
least 3
starts
people.
with like Tom's goals, where it's like you can make one person laugh, but if
Yeah.
that's not sustainable.
Unless that person's a billionaire.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so you had to take off and you grabbed some stuff. What are we? What can we taste that's going to go with that?
We're going to taste ginger.
Yeah, let's do
Okay,
ginger next.
ginger.
I mean,
Done.
It's,
I'm
it's
definitely
pretty
gonna
powerful, but it's going to go with the whiskey for sure.
And this is actually our biggest seller outside the state of Oregon. In the state of Oregon, we sell vodka because we're local, it's good,
Okay.
people know us. But this sells itself. It literally
Yeah.
sells itself.
Okay.
Yeah,
best-
it's definitely one of our best sellers in the tasting room too. Again,
okay.
like he said, it sells itself.
Oh wow, yeah, already.
And so this is the basic case of if you're a small distillery, you actually have the freedom or the ability to work with fresh ingredients.
yeah,
So, I mean, nothing complicated about this. It's like cooking. It's like we use whole fresh ginger root, we crush it up, we soak it in
Okay.
the spirit for over a month, we let it settle. It's just, we spend a lot of time to make this. It's just a classic, use good ingredients, good
yeah.
techniques.
Okay. it smells like I just rubbed some ginger between my fingers. That is really potent.
I think one of my favorite days is when we're crushing the ginger to do the ginger liqueur.
Yeah.
The whole distillery just smells like fresh ginger. When people come in, I mean, there's people back here hammering with meat mallets on ginger root. But it looks like a Dexter crime scene. We've got tarps up so that it doesn't splatter all over the equipment, and they're literally just beating the hell out of ginger. But it smells amazing.
Yeah.
Like there was two times since I've started working here where it was like when you walk in the door, it's just like heaven.
Yeah.
Pear brandy. The whole month of doing pear brandy, whether it was when they were ripening, when we were distilling, like every part of that process smelled amazing.
Right.
Ginger is like the second best.
No, yeah, definitely. No, this is great. This is so strong. I mean, not overbearing though. I love the spice of ginger. I juice my turmeric, stuff like that.
Even juice, bro?
I know, bro. Do you even ginger, bro? But this is awesome. This is great too. Any awards behind this guy?
Lots. Yeah. I mean, not recently.
It's been out for a long time.
It's been out for a while, and honestly, like the last ADI, we only submitted the two that were like new and didn't have any awards. It's like we could keep putting in the gins and the ginger and stuff, but it's like they have a lot of awards already, and at some point it's like, I don't know. You just keep it won best of class, double gold, all sorts of stuff on this one. This is, in my opinion, and Tom probably agrees with me, this is like sort of the definition of like craft and what he just said, where it's like you can actually take the time, like we're infusing ginger for 30 days.
Yeah.
In a high proof spirit, which is like nobody else wants to take the time to do that. It's like get the ginger extract or juice the ginger or put it in there or whatever, But this, it makes a difference. I mean, I've even tasted the ginger when you pull it out, like the actual ginger that's left over, the solids, and there's like no flavor left. It's weird. It's like you're chewing on ginger, which normally just like burns your mouth, and it's just like you're chewing on like a piece of bark or something. Yeah.
But it's high in fiber.
It's good for you. Yeah, it keeps it regular.
It's just crazy because all the flavor and nutrients come out of the ginger into the spirit, and then we take the solids out. We add cane sugar and agave to sort of balance it and sweeten it.
Okay.
But the agave gives it a nice silkier mouthfeel. The sugar obviously makes it sweeter. But
That's killer. I love the spicy ginger. A lot of that. Okay, that's 25.6%. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a nice, I call it like a ginger beer concentrate. If you mix that with club soda, you can make a Moscow Mule, whiskey ginger, a dark and stormy, anything that, I don't even buy pre-made ginger beer.
Now we're talking cocktails.
Yeah.
Making me thirsty.
Uh-oh.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh? What's happening?
I hear a beeping.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's just really hot.
Do you think it's the battery or do you think it's the GoPro?
No, it's had a long day.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's still chilling. Okay, so moving forward, I guess. Yeah. Where do you guys want to go next?
Let's see. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get. You got time, right? You got.
Yeah.
Let's get the coffee.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. We don't have coffee up here.
I'm gonna grab the coffee.
Yeah.
You got some coffee? Okay.
These two together, Bud Puddle and coffee. So this is a chocolate-infused vodka, no sweeteners added to this. And then the coffee is similar to the ginger. We add cane sugar and agave. So when you put them together, it's like that's the magic.
Okay.
They're great on their own. They're very different from each other because this is, Tom likes to call it essentially like a bitter cacao spirit. There's no sweetener. So people think it's a chocolate liqueur when they first hear chocolate. They're like, oh, it's going to be sweet and, like Godiva liqueur or whatever, but it's not. It's very different. And then the coffee is definitely, sweetened. So the two together is a great combo.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I got to do a rinse.
Smell up there?
She's up front.
It got quiet in here.
Yeah, this is what happens on weekdays.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went up front and threatened them, so I was like,
okay.
quiet, be quiet.
Guys, shut up. We got Brian from MicroShiner here, and everyone's like, who the fuck is
This
that?
is our big chance
I don't
right
give a
here.
shit,
This is it.
right? Me, I just do this for the free drinks, you guys.
There you go.
You know? But, okay, cool.
So I think Lance explained the mud puddle.
Okay? Yeah, yes.
Bitter chocolate. And the story I like to tell is like, I remember when I raided my mom's baking cabinet and found the baking chocolate?
Yeah.
And I thought I'd hit the jackpot.
Hit the mother load.
And I tasted one bite and I'm like, what the hell is
Like,
this?
is
It's
terrible.
ruined.
This is a ripoff. I'm like,
Right.
was this a trap? Was that set up?
Right?
But now
Poison the chocolate.
but now that we're adults,
It's like me raiding the liquor cabinet and finding some Seagram's gin, and I just couldn't stand it. And now it's like, wow. Or like the best example is slow gin. People are just like, oh, slow gin's like the one you just kind of drink, and then you wake up and your puke's purple. But it's like there's a lot of great spirits coming out and some great slow gins as well. But okay, so now we got back to back. So this is.
Yeah. So he just poured the coffee.
This is the coffee right here.
Mud puddle up front.
Mud puddle,
Yep.
then coffee.
So
Okay.
try them separate, and then once you've tried them both.
Yeah, we'll just sit with the mud puddle for a second.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
definitely.
sit with the mud puddle.
So, actually, let me explain how we make this. We get nibs from Theo's Chocolate in Seattle. We bring them in, and we actually roast them ourselves in-house. So treat them like a coffee bean, sort of mellow them, bring out the oils, do an extraction. And it is just that dark cacao.
Yeah.
99% in a bottle.
Okay.
And unsweetened. And you can add sugar to a cocktail, but you can't take it out.
Wow. That is bitter chocolate. That is bitter chocolate is like one of the. I don't know. I've heard this. Maybe correct me. I'll probably see some comments, get some emails. But it's like bitter chocolate's really good for you. It helps like speed up metabolism and do stuff like that, and it also gives you like this euphoria. I know that they even have drinking chocolate. They take chocolate that you add hot water to, and you just drink the chocolate. I don't want to give shout outs, but I've worked with some chocolate companies in the past, done some video work and whatnot, and it's just like that. But of course, there's a little alcohol tinge there.
42%.
If it wasn't,
only
then
42%.
exactly. If there wasn't alcohol in it, like Martha Stewart would be here instead.
Right. Well, we want the health benefits of the chocolate and the health
Right.
benefits of the booze.
Right. Exactly.
It's a double health benefit.
We want the health benefits.
Oh my gosh, though, that is awesome. Sometimes I forget I'm holding a microphone and I smell my microphone.
Yeah.
Thinking it's the spirit.
Just don't drink the mic. Don't drink the mic.
Don't drink the mic.
Right? Yeah. That is outstanding. Really.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is another great day in the distillery when we were making the mud puddle. It smells amazing when we roast the cacao nibs.
Yeah.
But I'm also a chocolate fiend. I was allergic to chocolate as a kid.
Okay.
I think, like looking back on it, I think it had a lot more to do with like milk chocolate and whatever fillers they put in there. Because it would be like I'd eat like a Milky Way or something, and I'd swell up and couldn't breathe. Dark chocolate. Now that I'm older, again, going back to Tom's story, it's like you develop more of a flavor for the bitter chocolate. The darker, the better. Now that I'm older, and it has like no effect on me. Also, I used to just eat chocolate anyways, even though I would like swell up like a balloon and couldn't breathe.
Right.
Just because I'm a kid and you can't keep chocolate away from me. So my sisters would get like the big chocolate bunnies for Easter, and I'd get a milk chocolate bunny that they only make them in the tiny size because they're like, who wants this thing?
Yeah.
So that's what I would get, and I'd be jealous. So I'd go and steal the head off their bunny and eat it in my room with the door locked or whatever. And eventually I just grew out of it. But this, for me, I mean, I've always been just like almost addicted to chocolate. Yeah, exactly. So this is like my adult chocolate fix now.
I want to keep this. I gotta get some shots of this. I want to make sure this thing's rolling and rocking. There you go. Okay, so now on to the coffee liqueur.
Yeah.
This is going to sound strange, but coffee should taste like coffee.
Absolutely.
And in the spirit world, you see a lot of things that have flavors listed on the label, and you taste them, it's like, maybe it's not the flavor. Again, this goes back to a philosophy of using like real fresh ingredients. Also, there are 15 roasteries within 10 blocks of here.
Yeah,
this is a coffee town.
Yeah.
If we don't have a good coffee liqueur, we might as well leave town.
Yeah.
And so we work with different roasters. This is Water Avenue. We do a custom blend, custom roast, cold press in here. And we have a lot of coffee knowledge on staff. I was a barista back in the day. So,
Very cool.
You should know how to make coffee. I guess I like to say coffee is easy to make up, and it's also easy to fuck up.
Yeah. No, that is the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, the roaster is literally in a block and a half from here. So when it comes to us, it's been like fresh roasted, and then we do the cold brew almost immediately with the fresh roasted coffee. and you get a great flavor. I think there's, like he said, 15 roasters and 10 blocks. There's also, probably 5 different coffee liqueurs in this town, and we all use a different roaster. So, it's great.
No, that's great. That is. I love myself some coffee as well. It's like smelling. It's like smelling a bag of beans.
Yep.
Really,
Yeah.
it is like not sweet, not sugary, nothing like that. Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing. We only released the stuff that worked.
Right.
yeah. There's a lot of stuff in the back that you don't want to try.
Yeah. But the point is, we know at least we're smart enough to be like, that didn't work out. Let's keep doing this till we get it right.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
So
that's killer.
this
I
is
blended the two now.
That is a good choice.
This is the base we use for a cocktail similar to a White Russian. You just add some cream to this, and we do this in the tasting room every day. And it's
That's pretty.
Yeah, I mean, just these two together with a little orange bitters is great on ice,
Right.
or
Okay.
ice cream, or whatever you want to do with it. But because one's sweetened and one's not, they balance each other really well.
Now touching base still on these spirits. I mean, the Mud Puddle, the chocolate liqueur is 42% alcohol by volume.
Right.
That's awesome. Like that's again, when you start getting into liqueurs, you just expect the proof to drop.
Right.
And so it's like okay, but that might kick your butt too. Kick some ass.
Well, we're all professionals here, so
Right.
you got to give the people what they want.
Right. But no, that's great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. Okay.
Let him keep that mix, but then why don't we do
Yeah,
this too?
let me hold
this,
on to
This
that.
might be the last one for me because I'm gonna have to go back up into the.
He's gonna have to work.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
do have to work at some point. But
Yeah. Right. No. We'll taste.
Tom,
We'll
Tom
taste a
can
couple
taste
too.
you through, and I'm gonna go up in the tasting room. But I'm also, when you guys get to this, I'm gonna bring you some white Negronis with us as well. So
Okay.
go ahead and try the Cascara. Tom can talk more about this too.
Since you're still Mike, make sure you swear a lot in the tasting
Yeah,
room.
absolutely.
Yeah, no, I'll just keep you.
That's
It's gonna be
what
great.
always happens when customers try to come in. I just
No, it's great. And then make sure you go to the bathroom as well.
Yeah.
That's it. Get some great sound bites in there.
Maybe kill a
I
man.
won't tell the whole story. I had when I was younger. I used to go to church when I was younger. And there was a priest at my church that did go to the bathroom with his mic on, and it was maybe one of the funniest things that's ever happened in my church. So, a lot of grunting,
I've never heard that story before.
yeah.
A lot of oh Lord, oh Jesus.
Oh Lord, oh Jesus, grunting.
Oh,
my God, literally.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, on that note.
Yeah. Moving forward, but I kind of want to. That's really good.
Yeah, I won't go too far on this story.
Okay. Okay. So what is Cascara?
America's first Cascara liqueur. So
We hope.
we hope. As far as we know.
As far as we know, self-proclaimed.
Okay. Let me guess what it is. Because I just tasted. I just tasted and dove right in there. It's very pruny, plum almost. Very much stone fruit. But it's almost like a rich fig note too.
Yeah.
You have a good palate.
Yeah.
Thank you. I try. Like I said, ESA. I just drink everything. But no. Okay. So now explain it. What is Cascara?
Well, Cascara means, I believe, like the shell or husk in Spanish.
Okay.
So this is a tradition. This is a coffee fruit liqueur. So in the making of the coffee, this is the fruit around the coffee bean that through I'm not entirely up on the coffee making process. There's like a fermentation, and they drop this off and dry it.
Yeah.
This is the dried coffee fruit. And so through our relationship with the roaster here, there's this family in El Salvador, the Menendez family. And then they brought up the Cascara, and we wanted to be the first to make a Cascara liqueur, and I think we did it.
Yeah.
And it's also fun for that. I mean, again, being a coffee town, this is part of the coffee process, the coffee production.
Yeah.
It's that beautiful thing of like, you make something and there's stuff left over. What can you do with it? You make this.
That's great. No, that's a lot of fun. I've never had anything like this. Nothing. Like I said, I kind of noticed some fruit notes there, but
It's all from the Cascara.
Yeah.
there's a cat. There's like I was down in where was I? Bali, and there's there's like a coffee, right? There's like they call it a cat, but it's really a rodent, right?
So luwak.
Yeah, luwak.
The one that eats it and
eats
it like a priest.
It eats the coffee beans. Yeah, and then it goes through the priest process. Then so it almost like what happens in its stomach, and then it craps it out, and then you turn that into coffee.
Right.
That's.
Yeah, and it's like the most expensive coffee in the world.
Yeah,
because
I had
have
a
to
cup.
literally collect it from the luwak and
Exactly. Yeah. I had a cup. It was pretty interesting. Although I'm not a coffee connoisseur, it's kind of one of those things like FOMO. I couldn't leave there without trying it. I would have always wondered what cat shit coffee tastes like, or rodent coffee.
Haven't we all?
Right.
It was pretty strong though too, as Bali coffee is, regardless. Anyway, but fantastic. Okay, so is this what's right behind it in terms of liqueurs here?
So this is the first in our line of well, call it Amaro, but really the bitter liqueur family. This is inspired. So this is our Cascadia liqueur. This is the Cascade region, Cascade Mountains. So inspired by those flavors. So it's sort of like inspiration is probably more French Alpine, but has some inspiration from Italian Amaro. So the top notes: rose petal, and lavender. Very, very floral front. Rose and lavender. Lavender is definitely associated with the wine. All the winemakers have like lavender growing in their fields.
Okay.
And then the bitter is gentian and angelica root.
Okay.
And then culinary is cardamom, rosemary, and tarragon.
Okay.
So it's somewhere halfway between, Suze and green chartreuse. But that's the beauty about like bitter liqueurs. They are literally like, each one can be its own unique thing.
Yeah, no, that's great. The bitterness. I love it. Bites you at the end.
I think Lance is going to make us some white Negronis in a second.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if you need to stop drinking this late in the day. Usually this is when I actually start drinking, so.
Yeah, no, I've been going pretty solid today.
Yeah.
I have a graduation I have to go to this evening, so it's probably gonna be pretty nice, just hanging out.
There you go.
But no, this is okay. So, what's your base spirit on this?
The base spirit is just a grain spirit.
Okay.
So something that probably came out of our Portland 90 production.
Okay.
We have a lot of like stuff that's not not the prime cuts for the new deal or that. We just distill it again, makes it clean. It doesn't have like the brightness I want in a vodka, but it's a beautiful base to build other spirits off of.
Very cool. Excellent. So Tom, how long have you been in Portland? All your life?
No, not all my life, since 1972.
72?
But
Okay.
it's funny because I do the math and I'm like, I'm not that old, so something weird must have happened.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, there's like at least 10 years must not have been spent there, so.
Right? No. What brought you here?
Kidnapped by my family, of course. Everybody, when you're a kid, like you have no fucking choice.
No, true.
Actually, my mom and my grandmother are both from Portland. My mom kind of left Portland for a little bit. Probably shouldn't tell this story about somebody was pregnant out of wedlock and shit like that, and she was helping a friend. Little sketchy mid-60s story. I don't think my mom's gonna watch this podcast. If she is, I'm sorry, Mom.
Mom, it's okay.
Yeah.
My mom doesn't like to hear me cuss either, so sorry, Mom. Sorry. But okay, so cocktail in front of us.
This is Cascadia, our American bitter liqueur.
Okay.
Our 33 Portland dry gin and Coqui Americano, which is an aromatized white wine.
Okay. Fantastic.
I took off my mic, but
Okay. Well, hold on. Well, let's wrap this up though. We'll say goodbye to Lance.
Yeah.
Lance, it's been great. Cheers.
yeah, thanks for having me. It's been great. Hope you enjoyed everything you had.
Cheers. Thank you. Well, cheers. Absolutely.
Cheers.
Cheers. Can we say cheers one more time? Just cheers. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
But no, seriously, Tom, thank you. Thank you for having me in. Do you want to give any shout outs? Your tasting room is open when and whatnot. Let's get some people in here.
Tasting room open in the heart of Southeast Portland.
Okay.
Every Wednesday through Sunday, 12 to 6. We're also part of Distillery Row, which is like
Right.
8 distilleries in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
You can visit them all. I mean, Portland's a great food and drink community, tons of good bars. Just come to Portland, eat and drink, and enjoy yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, cool. Well, again, Tom, thank you so much for having me. Some great stuff here, great stories. I'm I'm glad you're doing what you're doing, and yeah, keep it up. I can't wait to for you to show me that little treasure trove of wheat whiskey, because we're gonna do that. No, I'm joking.
No. And I know we don't have any cannabis soaked spirits either. So.
Oh, cannabis. I mean, that really could be a new thing, though.
CBDs, yes.
We
should probably, let's just wait till after the mic's done.
Okay. Well, okay.
Brian, I really appreciate it. So
thanks. Okay, Tom, let's shut it down here. Cheers.
All right, take care.
Thanks. Bye.